to XTV's news broadcast for Monday, May 19, 2025. evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Monday, May 19, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, High Court ruled July 2020 SOE unconstitutional. BNTU members set to vote Thursday on GOB's proposal. And teacher dies in golf cart accident in San Pedro. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
The UDP's Central Executive Committee, status quo ante, on Sunday issued a press release detailing what was discussed during a meeting held that day at the party's headquarters in Belize City. The release states that the committee discussed the way forward for the party, including constituency conventions, the convening of a national party council meeting, the matter of expelled members, among other topics. Regarding the expelled members, the committee unanimously decided in a vote to reinstate the expelled members. However, they must comply with the party's constitution, which it states requires a public apology and a pledge to abide by the conditions of the membership in the party. On the matter of the constituencies, the committee agreed that all will be open to conventions beginning in July for an October national convention. Leader of the opposition, Honorable Tracy Panton, later posted on her Facebook page, quote, "I will not be distracted by dysfunction. I will not be intimidated by dictators. I will not be held hostage by misogynistic or narcissistic individuals who are driven solely by self-preservation and illusions of some self-imposed power. Those who are intent to dismantle the structures of the UDP, destabilize its base, and silence voices of the people will not win. You see, there is no losing when you put people first," end quote. On Friday, Dr. Jorge Polanco, the director of hospital services, told the media that the measles outbreak in Spanish Lookout Cayo is under control. He said that the infection was detected due to surveillance protocols that were already in place by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. He explained that it was reintroduced into the country by individuals who were not vaccinated and who visited an area in Mexico that is currently experiencing an outbreak. He added that Belize had been free from measles for 30 years prior to this latest outbreak.
We are concerned by the fact that it's infectious, but at the same time we are not that concerned because we have it under control. Our surveillance system is such that it was detected through what we call a Russian fever surveillance. And by that I mean anybody who shows up to any health facility with a fever and rash, they are screened for, in this case, measles. And that is how we found out of it. It has been contained the last two cases. There was a direct community meeting over the weekend. And of course, all the measures put in place, the people were advised, the families of that community were advised that if they do not have their vaccines, to go for it. And if you forgot if you had one or if you only had one, to go for that booster. So I think Belize has been free from measles, and it so happened that it was introduced because people who were not vaccinated were exposed to persons with measles in Mexico. So logically, if you are not vaccinated, you will bring it. But coming back to your question, the surveillance is such that we have relied on it, and that is why we have not had measles for over 30 years.
On Friday, Minister of Transport, Honorable Dr. Louis Zabané, met with bus owners in the north to get their feedback on his proposed single national bus company, which would be a public-private partnership model. Dr. Zabané is looking to ensuring fair, accessible, and safe transportation while seeking to address concerns about aging bus fleets and reckless driving behavior. He will also seek to implement a new certification program for bus drivers.
Yes, it has been very fruitful. It's very important for the bus operators to have as clear an understanding as possible on the proposal that we have made so that we can move forward expeditiously. We are meeting again on May 30th to come together for the next phase of work, which will have to do with us selecting through a committee of mostly members of bus owners to hire an auditor that will be evaluating their businesses, and also to give the auditor information that's relevant to that valuation. So we're hoping that on that Friday when we meet, we would be all on the same page For that to occur, we have to sit, and I am happy to get the opportunity to share the details of the plan with them, so we can get to the next stage of evaluating their businesses. Obviously, it's a very transformative proposal, and so operators want to know, well, in this new structure, if I decide to stay in as an owner of this new public-private partnership, which is going to be similar in structure to a BEL or a BWSL or a BTL, because you have government owning a portion and private parties owning another part, that how will I be paid? What will be the return to my value being in the company? So we have to explain the corporation structure, how that works with a board of directors of representing the owners, that board of directors hiring a professional team of management who will then run the company, and then based on the profitability, you have a dividend that is issued quarterly or every 6 months, whatever the case may be. So by explaining that, then they get an idea, right? That you have the value in shares, and then now they have the option of being paid out or keeping a portion in shares and a portion in cash paid out. So when we explain that, you know, they get a very clear understanding of what it means. And especially being in the business, they know how difficult it is to try and work out a little profit. So they understand now that with a larger company, that company would be able to buy in bulk. So you have economies of scale. Tires, for example, you could buy at, say, 40% what they would find at stores. If it's a public-private partnership, based on the agreement of cabinet, they may be able to get concessions on fuel and things like that. All of that has to go back to cabinet, because at the end of the day, that's how we run our country, and the wisdom of the Prime Minister and the cabinet, we come together and decide what those benefits would be.
However, today, the Belize Bus Owners Association, BBA, issued a press release today rejecting the proposed public-private national bus company. The release stated that after a special meeting on Sunday, the members voted unanimously to reject the proposal by Honorable Dr. Zabané. The BBA stated in its release, quote, "The BBA embraces the government's intent to modernize the public transportation system. Over the past decades, the BBA members have operated under very challenging conditions and have been consistently denied access to the critical fiscal concessions and the necessary level of government regulation. As conceded by Minister Zabané on XTV last Friday, the current state of the industry is a direct result of government sabotaging of the previous amalgamation effort in conjunction with the continued lack of necessary fiscal concessions for operators. The minister made it clear that it is not the fault of operators," end quote. The BBA now requests of the government the same concessions that is being proposed for the national company, which they note they have been requesting for decades. The BBA is requesting duty exemptions on the importation of buses, parts, and tires, removal of GST on fuel, protection of routes by the Transport Board, and proper regulation of the industry by the government. Honorable Dr. Louis Zabané is also the Minister of Religious and Indigenous Affairs. On Friday, he also gave updates on those two ministries, saying he has met with some religious leaders as well as with Maya leaders in Toledo.
With respect to religious affairs, I've had the privilege of meeting with some religious leaders. That's an ongoing process. We want to encourage interdenominational collaboration. So all those things are very important. With Indigenous Affairs, it's mostly focused on the Maya land rights case of 2015. In the past month and a half, we've had excellent meetings with the indigenous Mayas of our people of Toledo, the Toledo Alcaldes Association, the Maya Leaders Alliance, and we've had good progress, even meeting the subcommittee of cabinet a few days ago, and moving forward, and we're hoping that we can make great progress towards complying with the CCJ's directives of 2015.
Since the hijacking of a tropic airplane on Holy Thursday, there have been more airport security measures introduced at the domestic airports across the country. This has caused some delays and frustrations for some. However, Minister of Tourism, Honorable Anthony Mahler, said the new security measures will remain as they are now necessary to ensure passenger safety.
911 was the same situation. I have to travel. I don't like traveling because of all the stress you go through when you go through the security check. But I prefer peace of mind. I prefer that the measures are put in place rather than just having faith.
After the break, Haitian Flag Day serves as a reminder why the Americas should support Haiti. Stay tuned.
Imagine getting rewards for your
The Belize International Music and Food Festival will be on hiatus at least for 2025. On Friday, the Minister of Tourism, Honorable Anthony Mahler, told the media that the festival was canceled for the year. He explained that for the past 3 years, there was unpredictable weather which caused issues. The new plan is to invest in a permanent structure in San Pedro at Sacachispas Field, where performers and spectators can be shielded from the elements.
We've had a lot of questions about that already. People are wanted to know what's the lineup and all of that. But we've decided not to do it this year, and we'll bring it back next year. The past 3 years, we've had inclement weather, and so we will we'll start the build out of the stadium in San Pedro, the Sacachispa Field, and so that we can have that event there in a safer environment where the elements can affect the performances and the fun that people can have.
So it will stay on the island?
Yes, ma'am, it will.
So that idea that you had of shifting it between Belize, the mainland?
The room stock is in San Pedro, and the infrastructure is there, so we'll keep it there.
Do you have a timeline more or less as to when this would be up and running?
All the designs are being finalized. We got the support from the area rep and the town council, and then they'll do some consultations when the plans are completed.
And the financing for the project?
Through the BTV and other entities.
Does the postponement of it have anything to do with the last few costing more money than profit?
No. Like I've said, none of these events for us, the Belize Tourism Board and anything for government shouldn't be a profit-making venture. The economic spin-off for the entire island, for the entire. In fact, we saw last year, Kikaka, the hotel rooms in Kikaka were booked, and a lot of transportation. The hairstylists get more money, the fingernail people, the people who provide food and drinks. So the huge economic spin-off, when we calculated it was close to $13 million last year. It was huge. And so the economic impact for us is more important than breaking even. We would want to come close to break even, but these events are very costly. Like I've said before, when I spoke to the Minister of Tourism in St. Lucia, they spend close to $13 million US, I believe, on their St. Lucia Jazz Festival. So she was a bit upset that we're not having it this year, and people are upset. But when we started it, people were upset too, right? And now that it has built traction and that people can see the benefits for the country and the marketing that happens because of it, now people see the work.
On Friday, the media was given a tour of the newly retrofitted Central Medical Laboratory in Belize City. The retrofitting project, a collaboration with the EU, began last April. The project saw a complete facelift of the structure and the addition of new equipment. Dr. Jorge Polanco, the Director of Hospital Services, spoke on the work done and its importance to the medical laboratory scientists and technologists of the lab.
You saw today, indeed, is a significant milestone, a great change, something that the staff was really looking forward. If you heard, it was mentioned that in 2006 there was a fire that actually destroyed the bottom floor. So that in itself put the staff to work in limited spaces. Over the years, the building began with some leakages, put it that way. As a result, it gave way to algae. Anyway, in a nutshell, it was really in bad conditions, and it was said, since the European Union project was on, that this could be one building whereby it could be refurbished to make it within their context of having smart and green health facilities. So this is one of the 6 health facilities that were refurbished. You did hear earlier that you had community hospitals and the regional hospitals, 5 of them, and then this was the 6th one. This was started last year, April, and it concluded. The staff should be moving at any time. The only thing that is pending is the installation of the internet, and basically the internet, what we call a Belize Health Information System, and they would be ready to move in.
also the upgrade, does it include just newer equipment or additional equipment so that they are capable to do tests and lab tests that they weren't before able
with,
to?
With the new space right now, we do already have new equipment added to the existing and some new equipment, especially when we say what we call a PCR, which is a test with the equipment there that would allow us, for example, in the case of viruses, to tell us exactly if that or what type of virus that is. That was a test that we had limited function, very limited space, very limited staff, but throughout the last 2-3 years, PAHA has, after COVID, during COVID and after COVID, has been assisting us significantly in the training of different medical technologies in the area of microbiology and the PCR. And we have the new equipment also. I think some of them you saw out there. Some other ones might be in some boxes which will be transported.
And every May 18 is observed as Haitian Flag Day. On this day, the creation of the flag during the Haitian Revolution as a symbol of resistance against their French colonizers. It also serves to celebrate the resilience of the Haitian people and their role in history as the world's first free republic led by African descendants. The day is also observed by the UBAD Educational Foundation, UEF, in solidarity with U.S.-based Haitian Action Committee. The committee this year is demanding restitution and reparation, the right to asylum for Haitian refugees, and for the flow of U.S.-made weapons into Haiti to stop. UEF chairperson Yaya Marin Coleman gave a brief history of the struggle of the Haitian people.
Like one lot of Belizeans or people globally, we don't know the story of we African sisters and brothers that the first free republic of formerly enslaved African people who fight the colonizer, enslaver, French, British, Spanish, and win. And so, because we don't know the stories, then we don't even know our own Belizean stories adequately. Then when we look for oftentimes news from traditional media, we just, if we even listen to it, we just take what they say and we run with it. And so that's why it's important that we tell our own stories and that we learn our own stories. So UBAD Educational Foundation, one of we solidarity organization, the Haiti Action Committee, on which there one group of activists, one network of activists from the San Francisco Bay Area. My contact the brother Pierre Labossiere, he's a Haitian brother and has been doing meaningful work in solidarity with our African ancestors and for his blood family, Haitian people who are the majority of identifiably African descendants, racialized as Black people. So we in a lot, when I say we, I mean the Caribbean, North America, Latin America, all for we freedom to Haitian people. So the Haitian Revolution lasted about 12 and a half years. That before the Spaniards, Christopher Columbus and the crew make a first voyage on the island that we now know as Haiti, there were indigenous people who were known as Taino people, and they lived there for thousands of years just to live their life. And then what they do, then they look for gold, then kill out the Taino people. Now, important that we hear the numbers. The source where I use primarily the Randall Robinson and Unbroken Agony, Haiti from Revolution to the Kidnapping of a President. And the numbers were he using there. He said that December 1492, they had an estimated 8 million Tainos living in Haiti. Within 20 years, you had fewer than 28,000. By 1542, only 200 left. So in a matter of 50 years, over 7 million Tainos, indigenous people, wiped out primarily by European diseases such as malaria and smallpox. But then the rest of them get slaughtered by Christopher Columbus and two brothers, Diego and Bartolome, Spanish colonists, soldiers, kill out the people.
Christopher Columbus introduced sugar cane to Haiti and transported African slaves to the island to work as part of the labor force. Marin Coleman explained how they rebelled and why many countries in the region should honor the Haitian people.
Today, the 18th is considered, it's a public and bank holiday at Haiti, and it's considered a flag day. So this is the 222nd year that Haitians celebrate this day. Now, when they win the independence, it was under Jean-Jacques Dessalines, right? The first one was Toussaint Louverture. And then under Jean-Jacques Dessalines, when they win the independence, he tear the white, because the French flag had three colors, the white in the middle, or the blue and the red. He tear the white out, and then the only the blue and the red me left. And I said that he tell a Gadata for then sew the Haitian flag together, the red and the blue, and her name was Catherine Flan. And then the motto upon the French flag was RF, standing for the Republic of France. And he changed the motto from RF, the Republic of France, to liberty or death. Then when the next president come, and his name was Alexander Petillon, I think his name was, he changed the motto to strength in unity. But for shorten this long answer, the reason why we owe Haiti with liberty, in 1815, Latin America specifically, Simeon Bolivar got around the look for Uganda, Europe, Uganda, all over the world, Uganda, England, the look for assistance for overthrow Spanish rule in Latin America. Nobody no help her, nobody. Uganda, Haiti. And the then president, Alexander Petillon, tell her, I want help you upon one condition. Any country where you're going and got enslaved African people, you have to liberate them. And he said yes. Upon that strength, he give them arms, ammunition, soldiers, and advice to continue the battle for win independence for the entire Latin America. He give them 4,000 guns, 15,000 pounds of powder, one press machine, 3 boat, food, and soldier. Petillon gone, and end up with the assistance when they get from Haiti, liberate Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia. So then people owe their liberation to Haitian people, African people, no African descendants racialized as Black people. And then when Haiti became liberated, then say anybody were in our colonized space, any enslaved African, on a touch going and so, are on a free. So we, because of them, we free, because 3 years after the Haitian Revolution, that then both Britain and America ended the enslavement, the trafficking of enslaved Africans. So yesterday I got and put the Haitian flag for our Library of African and Indigenous Studies veranda. So for the past, I said a big Haitian flag they fly. And that's the reason why they fly, because today the Haitian Flag Day. And we are in solidarity with our African ancestors and ancestors and our African descendants racialized as Black people, that 80, and we're in solidarity with them.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. To repeat, can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again Tuesday at midday. Join us again Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.